Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tammy Michelle Simmons Podcast. I am Tammy Michelle Simmons, and one there's maybe a long episode, but there's a lot of backstory behind all of this, so I want to get this out in one episode. Okay, so the reasoning for this episode. Some of you may know me from Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless, where I give encouragement. And I have been doing that for at least under Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless for at least about, um, I would say like 11 years. But before that, I was giving encouragement under a different name. So either way, I've been giving encouragement for the last, oh, now it's probably like an anniversary. So let's say about 15, 16, 17 years, somewhere almost 20 years, somewhere or beneath 20 years, something. It's numbers, okay? It's a decade, over a decade. So, uh, and so at the end of the day, I wanted to have a place where I could just talk to you guys, where it wasn't just about encouragement all the time because there is more to me. I have music. I have books, that I've written, and I know that some of my followers want me to start using my voice more. So I will probably be doing that type of stuff soon too, if God allows. So at the end of the day, I wanted a place where I could just be, you know, um, so to speak. So I can give you the behind the scenes here, and I could talk about my books, and then I could talk about um, you know, if something happens with voice or, what I mean, we can go over. Sometimes I have like little dialogues in my head, so I can do all that here versus doing that on Worthy, Worth, and Priceless where I just give encouragement all the time. So um, it's just basically separating the two, and basically like all facets. So you'll get more of me on here versus there. So if that makes sense. So, the second thing, let's talk about the names. Okay. So, for my books and everything is under Tammy Simmons. For my artistry, um, it is under Tammy Michelle Simmons. The reasoning behind that is um, I had no choice. Like, um, when I by the grace of God, when I started doing music in 2022, um, I'm through DistroKid. So at the end of the day, they give you um you get like a verified name. So I wanted to make sure that it was a name that nobody else had. So I looked up Tammy Simmons. When I looked up Tammy Simmons, somebody had it. When I looked up Tammy Michelle, somebody had it. I looked at Tammy by itself. No matter what I tried, it was already done or something like that. So I wanted something that was distinctively me, and that's how I came on to Tammy Michelle Simmons. Um, and what I will say is, for the most part, I want to make sure that, well, hold on, let me just say this. Last year, around this time in January, my dad passed away. And so me and him talked about this like previous years and was talking about me getting married. And I was like, when I get married, I want to, keep my last name. And I was actually kind of joking, but probably serious or whatever. He was like, no, when you get married, you take on the husband's name. You know what I mean? And um, he was like, no, you take on your husband's name. And so for me, I want um for my dad to live on. You know what I mean? His junior, um, Stanley Simmons Jr., which is my brother, big man, he passed away actually 4 months before my dad. So at the end of the day, um, you know, senior and junior have passed away. I do have another brother. Um, But the thing about it is I wanted to have something that will live on as far as my dad's last name. So, as far as me, no matter if I do get married, I guess I don't know how they say it, like marriage wise, I will be whoever my husband's last name is. But professionally, I will still be um, Tammy Michelle Simmons or Tammy Simmons because I want my dad's name to live on. So that is that. Um, Now let me see, because I think it was something else I wanted to hit on. Um, oh, why am I a spoken word artist versus being like a singer and all of that? Now this might be a little deep or something, but it might not be. I don't know. I always wanted to be a singer ever since I was younger. That was my thing. I love singing. And people, although people have told me that I have a voice and I can sing, I think just for me, I haven't really had the confidence, you know, to do so. Whether it was people backing me up or whatever, or, I've always had an issue with my self esteem. Ever since I was younger, being picked on and things like that. But I will say that my brother, big man, when I was younger, he was the first person to tell me that I could sing. We will always joke with each other, you know how kids do. And so I remember one time I was singing or whatever, and I think I was like 7 years old, and he's like a year younger than me. And so he came in the room and he was like, my nickname is Bubble. So he was like, Bubble, I joke around a lot, but Bubble, you can really sing. You got a good voice, Bubble. You can sing. And he was the first person that really told me that I could sing. And but throughout the years, my confidence in singing hasn't really been the best. Like I'll have somebody to tell me that I can sing, and then whatever reason, I don't go forward with it. But yeah. So lack of confidence is the reason why I don't actually sing at this moment. I did do voice lessons. I will probably get back into it, but we're just gonna leave that where it is right now. But with that being said, that is the reason why I'm a spoken word artist. Oh, excuse me. My God. I wanted to get the music out. I just didn't know how to do it. So, oh, and let me go even back further, just a minute. How I got into music. Now, one, I always wanted to be a artist or singer ever since I was younger. But what ended up happening was my followers from Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless. They heard my voice, obviously, from me talking, and I've had like a few of my followers say, I love your voice. Like, do you have a podcast? Do you have something? I would love to hear your voice and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay. Well, what I ended up doing was like, I ended up just getting a script off of ChatGPT. And it's like, one of those meditative ones. And so I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do this. And I showed them, I was like, I made the video or whatever. I had like the ocean behind it or whatever. And I was like, do you guys like this or whatever? And it was like, yeah, you know what I mean? So, and that's where that came from. And then I, did the research about DistroKid. I want to find a way that everybody can get it. So that's where it came from. And that is where a warm encouragement came from. My first EP, um, it was just basically a song, like just basically songs of encouragement. And so I found beats on SFR Beats, and um, I went with them because I think there's no publishing and all that other stuff. And so at the end of the day, with me just starting out, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I will tell you, my first the EP that you see or hear now is not the one that actually came out. Um, I think I can't remember how many songs I had. I think I had 8 songs. And the thing about it was with those songs, um, they were encouraging, which isn't a problem. But I didn't know how to mix or master or anything. So, like, I recorded them, and then I went to, like, Lander or something like that, and I had them do the mixing and mastering. I was gonna go through there. But the thing about it was the songs were loud, like, very loud, and it's like, it wasn't, and no offense to them or nothing like that, but it's like, I don't think I knew what I was doing, and so at the end of the day, I ended up getting in contact with, a producer that I knew, or engineer that I knew locally, and I sent him my stuff, and I had him mix and master all of them, and then when I actually heard them back, um, I was like, "Ooh, hmm, I don't really, I don't really like all of these." And so I ended up putting them out later. Um, but um, and it's so crazy, I don't even know what I put them out under, but they are all out, but they're just not on this project, put it that way. And so what you see now is all of the songs that that I just felt like went together. So the song that I'm going to talk about right now, because I know I went through the background, but I would like to also give you what this podcast will actually be about. And basically, it's like the behind the scenes of not only my writing, the music, just me, um, and stuff like that. And even maybe like voice stuff. If I didn't even say all this, I may have even said this stuff earlier, but like voice stuff, and maybe dialogue things that I might do, stuff like that. But either way, let's get into the first song, um, or actually the song for this episode. Um, it is, It Won't Always Be Like This. This is my most popular song. I was saying to myself, I was like, if I'd never even recorded this song, I don't even know if I would even have listeners because I tell you, like, this song is the song that everyone like gravitates towards every time, like, even before anyone knew. And I'm not saying everybody knows me now, but um, if anybody didn't know anything, like, this is the song, the only song. Sometimes it was like this was the only song that had listens and everything. So it won't always be like this was basically me talking to myself. And I will say this too, it was never a single. Um, I think I put it out as a single like last year or something like that, but I ended up taking it back because I put it on reintroduce myself. So either way, let me get to the thing. It won't always be like this was basically me talking to myself. It was me giving encouragement through a time that I really needed to be encouraged. It was kind of like me talking to myself and saying, "Hey, it won't always be like this because it wasn't always like this," and things like that. And um, it was basically, especially at the beginning, it's like, "I know you're crying inside. I know you want relief," and that was me. You know, even though I can go outside and at that time, and it felt like, like, how you just cry in the middle of the night and all that other stuff. And then you wake up in the morning as if nothing happens. You go to work and you got a smile on your face, and nobody knows that you are, you know what I mean? Like the fight for your life that you had the night before. And so I knew if I was going through that, I knew that other people was going through that as well. And so that's where that song came from. And that's where I wanted to give people encouragement from. And without me even um, advertising anything, for the most part, I don't advertise, boost, or anything. Um, like this song has really basically taken off. So if you're listening to this and you are a follower or not, I hate to say follower, but you are a supporter of mine, I wanted to say thank you for listening to that song. Um, I'm grateful by the grace of God that that song has gotten you through. Um, so that was not really me making it, that was God making it for you guys, and, um, thank you so much. That's the thing, it has been, like, number 1 in so many different places. Well, not, like, number 1, but you know what I mean, like, it has, been my top song, you know what I mean, in all different countries, so I just want to thank everybody for that. Um, I don't wanna continue to ramble on, so I'm just gonna close this out, but I just wanna thank you so much for coming to this podcast. Thank you for your support thus far, and I will have more podcasts and everything, and thank you for the space. Thank you for allowing me to take up your time and be your background noise and everything. So until next time, I love you guys. Thank you so very much.